reason it is not your fault. Hello fam, hello fam, hello. And I'm back to share with you some tips on living a sugar-free lifestyle. Before jumping into some additional tips, you will recall that I suggested that you start to look at the labels and identify any added sugars. So as you're going to the store, purchasing food products, check out the ingredients and you'll see some items where it's listing added sugar. That could be in sour creams, that could be in milks. Pretty much everything we drink is going to say added sugar. But what I wanted to share with you first is why it's not your fault. Why it's not your fault when you cannot make changes in your lifestyle. Now, I'm just going to focus on dietary, but this can apply to anything in our space, in our lives. The reason it's not your fault is it's because of our brains. I've been following and listening to a neuroscientist, Stacey Danford, and what Stacey shares is that our brains are wired to do things routinely, right? So it is not like our brains are just making decisions every single day. That it's making decisions, but those decisions are primarily based on routine. 40 to 50% of the decisions that our brains make are based on routine. And why is that? That is because that frontal lobe, the front part of our brain, already has a program, a language. You think about AI nowadays, artificial intelligence. You can program these computers to determine already what it is we're going to be doing. When you pick up your cell phone, when you pick up your laptop, they already know what it is you're looking for, what it is you like. The brain is the same way. It takes away all those decisions, those little decisions that we make, so it can focus on those bigger and more grandiose decisions, which that can be a great thing. But think about how you've programmed your brain over the years. If you've programmed your brains over the years to say, yeah, every time I come home, I am going to have a glass of wine and just sit in front of the TV. And I might work out, but I might not. If you program your brain to say, every time I go to the movies, I'm going to grab a box of popcorn, a soda, and some milk duds. If you program your brain to say, when I'm stressed out, I'm going to have a huge bowl of Ben and Jerry's, your brain is cycled to think that way continuously. So it's not your fault when you go to reprogram it that it is difficult to do. When you go to say, I'm going to do intermittent fasting, or I'm going to drink 12 cups of water, I'm going to work out 3 times a week, your brain is just saying, hey, it's easier for me to do what I've been doing. Why are you trying to reprogram me? I need to save this space for something else. Now that you know that, what does that mean? It means mind over matter. You've heard that before, mind over matter. So it means that you have to do some work to trick your brain to think differently. And what does that work look like? It means consistently telling your brain, I can do this. Setting some times when you're going to do something and sticking to it. And sometimes that may mean that you need a squad, that you need a support system, that you need a community to make sure you are consistent and dedicated and committed and accountable to what it is you're doing. So it's not your fault. Remember that in every space that you operate, it is your fault if you don't decide, choose, and put things in place so that you can make effective changes. All right, so getting back to the sugar concept. The last time I was on, I indicated to check out those ingredients. And the reason why I don't want to give you too much information at once is because when our brains are overloaded with information, it says, hold on, you're doing too much. We have to chunk it. Stacey Danford says chunk it into 3s, so maybe I'm going to do 3 things for a month. Instead of making this long list, this New Year's list, I've been guilty of doing that, of so many things to accomplish. Focus on a few things, because when we fail, our brain registers it and it sets us back. That's typically how it works. Now that we've focused on looking at ingredients and deciding that these added sugars are bad, let me tell you about the sneaky sugars that are in there. All right. Let me just read a few of these to you. Some of the sneaky sugars are corn syrup, fructose syrup, There's also agave nectar. I went to a bar a couple of weeks ago, and since I'm on this non-drinking, this sober lifestyle, I said, well, give me a mocktail. And he decided to use, and I said, no sugar. I'll just take like stevia. He decided to use agave nectar because he thought that was healthier. Agave nectar is 85% fructose, so you have to be careful of that. With malt beers, barley malt is a problem. Beet sugar, let's see what else. Don't think that you're doing something by switching from white to brown sugar. Cane juice is not good. Caramel is a sugar. Corn sweeteners are sugar. Crystalline fructose, sugar. Date sugar, dextran. Dextran is a sneaky one because it doesn't really come across in those ingredients. You really have to be careful for that. I've seen that in a lot of workout products that I take. Fruit juice concentrates are not good. Dairy products with galactose is not good. Grape juice, raw honey in moderation. So you can have some raw honey, but don't overdo it. Just because it's raw doesn't mean that you can just overdose on it. It's better than the honey you get in stores that is just packed with sugar. So watch out for raw honey. Maple syrup, watch out for it. So now at this point, sucrose is another one. At this point, you're thinking like, gosh, like what else is there for me? Well, your goal is to curb your craving for sugar. So I'm not saying just cut it out completely unless you want to do the detox, which I did, and you'll have some withdrawals from that. But be aware of those types of sugars. Now, if you really, really have this craving, get nature's candy, have fruit. Have as much fruit as you want. Have fruit. Don't do dried fruit right now, but if you have to, do it because, again, you're slowly programming your brain. But have fruit. And then after that, you can... Shirley said, what can you have? Yes, you can have fruit. Now, the other thing you can do is a little bit of stevia. So there are a lot of different sugars. There's the yellow sugar, the sugar in the yellow package, the sugar in the pink package. Stevia is the cleanest one because it is more natural. So you can put a little of that. I actually have a liquid version of stevia where it takes maybe 1 to 2 drops in my coffee. That's it. Sometimes if I'm drinking a seltzer water, a sparkling water, and I just need a little sweetener in the slice of oranges and getting it, 1 drop of that stevia and I'm good. It will help you with calories. It will help you with craving. So remember, it's not your fault, but you can change and you can have a better lifestyle if you take these steps. That's what I got for you today. And thanks for joining, fam.